Being a famous rapper is all fun and games when making millions of dollars. However, things turn really bad when street members make you their #1 target. A rapper caught lacking often is Julio Fulio. Julio Fulio has been caught by OPPS many times. As back in November 2021, on an early morning, Julio pulled up to his crib after a late night out in the city. When hopping out of his truck, multiple firearms were then starting to go off in his direction. He then quickly grabbed his firearm from out of his waistband and then began retaliating to the multiple group of men. Once it was over, Julio then noticed that his leg was grazed. However, thankfully it was not that serious. So he decided to skip the hospital visit and instead he hopped on Instagram Live to share the story.
Not no shit. I ended my whole on my dad to stop playing with me. And I didn't get hit. I got grazed in the leg. Stop playing. On trading. I ended my whole.
However, it did not stop there. Going further on his Instagram to say, y'all missed a whole 100 clips, literally. Once fans caught wind of the situation, they assumed Julio had been taken out within the next year or so. Yet he'd hop on Instagram again just to say that he was acting in self-defense.
On trading my register, I back in self-defense, y'all. Back in self-defense. You don't think if I did something illegal, I would be in jail? The police put me in a...
Yet this wasn't even the first time Julio had been caught up in the street like this. As back in the 9th grade, before his music took off, he had been beefing with a rival crew in Jacksonville, and things would then turn quickly grim. As in December of 2014, news broke that Devron Crowden had been hit with a firearm while waiting for the school bus. Julio and Devron were from the exact same school, and they were known to be affiliated with rival crews. As Julio Fulio's mother made him attend schools that were in the OPPS neighborhood, so he was always on the lookout once arriving to class. After Devron sadly passed, rumors spread that Julio was somehow involved. Even though Julio insisted that he had absolutely nothing to do with it, he'd go on to make the mistake of dissing Devron in an attempt to prove that he wasn't scared of anyone. Then the following week, he'd almost get into a brawl with 3 people before jumping on the school bus. These 3 wanted revenge for Devron, and Julio was their main target. So once Julio hopped out of the bus, he found a quiet, relaxing spot. However, 10 minutes later, someone pulled up and began using a firearm towards Julio. Trying to duck for cover the best he could, he would end up getting hit in his hip, causing Julio to begin crawling to a nearby house where a lady was sitting on the porch. Julio was begging for help, asking for her to call an ambulance. Instead, the lady on the porch then told Julio to just get lost. With Julio Fulio now out of luck and nowhere to go, he had no choice but to act like he passed on the sidewalk. He was laying on the ground until the men finally left the scene. After some time, Julio then made his way to the hospital, and while getting help for his injuries, police were quick to question him about Devron Crowden. They grilled Julio about the Devron case. However, Julio had a very solid alibi, because he was on his way to school at the time of Devron's passing, clearing him from any sort of involvement. Once Julio recovered, he decided it was best for him to then just drop out of school, since he became the #1 target at a school full of OPPS. But another rapper that got pulled up on out of nowhere would be Lil TJ. After almost passing in the year 2022, he was seen sitting in a parking lot outside of a hotel with his boys. A man would approach their parked vehicle in an attempt to rob the rapper of his chains as well as any cash that he had. Things escalated very fast, leading to firearms going off, leaving to Lil TJ and his boy getting hit. However, Lil TJ's other friend in the back seat then used his firearm in retaliation, hitting the robber in the back and saving Lil TJ's life. Emergency vehicles quickly arrived onto the scene. Then when landing in the hospital, things were not looking good for him at the start. He was in a very deep sleep for a very long time. There were many questions about whether he would even wake up. Then after a couple of days, he got up and he began his recovery. 2 months later, Lil TJ hopped on Instagram, showing his appreciation for everyone's support. He would then release his hit song titled Beat the Odds, breaking his silence on the incident, and then sharing that he's grateful for a second chance of life on IG.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy TJ, man. I'm just checking in with y'all. I just want to say thanks for the love, thanks for the support.
While Lil TJ's situation was seemingly out of nowhere, the incident surrounding Quando Rondo was expected for a very long time, with Quando being most known for his involvement surrounding King Von's passing in 2020. Quando has always had a huge target on his back. Then in August of 2022, Quando nearly got taken out while he was at a gas station.
Right now, the search is on for 3 people who police say at a Savannah rapper a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured the aftermath.
While Quando Rondo and his boys were parked at the gas station, 3 hitters came out of nowhere and began using firearms towards Quando's crew. Rumors began spreading that Quando was the one hit and then passed from the situation, alongside other rumors stating that it was members from O Block trying to retaliate for King Von. However, both would end up being false. Instead, they got his friend, known as Lil Pab. He got hit and he sadly passed from the injuries. Once police arrived onto the scene, this video posted of Quando Rondo screaming and crying started going viral online, as Quando was just realizing what really happened to his best friend. Next up would be Spot 'em Got 'em. He was lucky enough to escape with his life, as back in September of 2020, he shared his location on his Instagram story, showing that he was hanging out at the Miami House of Hits recording studio. With this studio being very well known in the area, it did not take long for his ops to figure out his true location. Spot 'em then left the studio that night in a car, when suddenly a car filled with rival street members pulled up and began using their firearms towards him, unleashing around 22 casings. Both Spot 'em and his friend in the back seat would sadly get hit. Now, no one knew truly if he survived the incident. However, the following day, Spot 'em's lawyer then confirmed that he was lucky enough to make it out alive. His attorney also clarified that this was a targeted drive-by and that Spot 'em never even retaliated during the incident. But what is interesting is that the internet quickly figured out Spot 'em was driving a stolen car, yet Spot 'em insisted that he had nothing to do with stealing it and he was only driving it. A YouTuber later stepped forward and claimed ownership of the vehicle, stating that it was in fact stolen.
Nah, yeah, it was white. It was stolen in Atlanta. Sheesh. 22.
However, the situation with Kodak Black would be even crazier, as he was caught up in the streets after leaving a party in LA. Out of nowhere, a brawl would end up erupting, and Kodak decided to join in. This proved to be a very terrible idea, as someone pulled out a firearm and ended up using it towards Kodak's leg. Despite being hit, just a few hours later, Kodak would be seen hopping on IG Live to taunt the person that did it to him, acting very unfazed about what just happened earlier on in the night. While Kodak made it out okay, the story with Philly rapper Ralphie OSS could have ended him. Ralphie was seen hanging out on the block with his friends when a car would quickly pull up. A hitter would then jump out, aiming straight at Ralphie with a switch. He would then get hit in both of his legs, falling to the ground. Thankfully, the hitter's firearm jammed, and it gave Ralphie a chance to run away to the corner store. After fixing the jam, the man even tried following Ralphie into the corner store. However, somebody from the inside would go and retaliate for Ralphie, forcing the hitter to leave the scene. Ralphie then followed up the situation with an interview.
It was quiet, it was slow motion, it's like no cars was going past, no people, it just felt like all this and this, that just was like, yo, your son, like, you can't on your son. That's the first thing came to my mind. I jump up. Mind you, I'm in both my legs, I jump up. I go to open the door of the store, I almost fall.
He'd go on to stay in the hospital for around a week until he would be released and went on to recover fully. However, someone caught by ops multiple times would be O Block rapper Lil Reese. In 2019, Reese got caught up in the streets by his ops. Skeezy posted videos showing Lil Reese having a brawl with around 5 guys. To make it even worse, fans claimed that Lil Reese went number 2 in his pants after getting scared from the incident. After some time went by, Reese would address the situation, stating 5 men came after him, but he didn't back down.
Wow. Wow. Where they do that at?
He even posted a video on Twitter with 40,000 saying that he never even got robbed. The men just outnumbered him.
Some money for me, that's how much you gonna come up. Saying take somebody made me myself took money. Y'all broke. I mean, I ain't do nothing. Jump on the bridge. And I was back.
Yet Lil Reese's second situation would be way worse than the first. Less than a year later, Reese was seen depositing some money into his mom's bank account when a car would pull up. Launching 26 total casings at Lil Reese in his vehicle, Lil Reese would end up catching one of them in his neck. He would thankfully fully recover. Later on, he'd also appear in an interview speaking on the situation for the first time.
It came out my back. It went from my neck to my back.
So it came out like right here, and it came out my back right here. Yeah.
Despite two dangerous situations for Lil Reese, he continued to find himself involved in street issues. As on May 15th, 2021, reports claim Lil Reese was involved in another incident.
One of them, rapper Lil Reese.
He was grazed by a and this is not the first time Lil Reese has been the. He was also in 2019.
As Lil Reese and three men would then be hit during an alleged car robbery attempt, a Chicago news report said father then used GPS tracking to locate his son's stolen Dodge Durango. After driving to the location, he would stumble upon a parking garage, finding Lil Reese and his crew inside of the stolen vehicle. Someone then quickly pulled out their firearm and began using it, leading to a full-on brawl between both sides. The driver of the stolen Durango would find himself speeding off in an attempt to escape. However, he would just crash into a pillar inside of the parking garage. Reese's crew would then exit the vehicle and continue on using their firearms, retaliating. As a result, Reese got grazed across his eye, and the audio leak of the man confronting Lil Reese would be released online.
Lil Reese out here leaking. Stole my car.
Making Lil Reese lucky enough to escape another bad situation, he has always found himself in some bad spots. As while Lil Reese at least has some respect in the game, GBO Gaston has absolutely zero, as he had been caught trying to clout chase constantly and that he really isn't about that life. Most notably would be his time trying to claim that he was a hitter of the Nipsey Hussle incident, even taking it as far as to the point of throwing a bottle of his bodily substance on the mural of Nipsey. It was very clear that Gaston was doing anything possible to get clout on social media. Most interesting, he then started as a Minecraft YouTuber many years ago. So with him now trying to act hard online, many people would investigate his history, finding many videos getting released showing what he's actually like in real life. As one video captured someone confronting Gaston in the streets of LA. As once things got heated, he would be seen sprinting to a nearby police station, and in another clip, somebody found Gaston in court and wanted to get into a brawl with them. He would very quickly leave the situation before anything happened, and then a couple months after those videos was released, Gaston would then get caught lacking in the streets for real, with multiple men going after him, sending a message for him to stop with the ridiculous clout chasing online. As ever since he got a real taste of the street life, nobody has heard from Gaston since. However, another rapper caught lacking is NBA Youngboy. He would get ran up on while filming a video in LA. Some locals didn't like that he was filming in the area, and they decided to pull up on Youngboy's crew. A car comes by as guys yell at NBA Youngboy from the vehicle. After frustrating Youngboy, a video then showed him walking the street angrily and started screaming back at them. That's when someone from Youngboy's crew pulled out a firearm from their waistband and began pointing it at the vehicle. The dudes in the car quickly sped away. Everyone on the street began screaming. That's the last of the video we saw, but we would learn that no casings were left off by Youngboy's crew later on that day. While NBA Youngboy was pulled up on, DaBaby would stand his own ground, as back in 2018, DaBaby was caught filming a video in East Atlanta. During the middle of his music video, a group of men rolled up to check DaBaby as he was using their turf to make his video. They started questioning DaBaby for being there, asking where his permission was to film in their hood. However, DaBaby didn't back down easily, and he decided to stand his ground.
Ain't nobody signed up a permission slip for me. Huh? Oh yeah? I ain't know that. Okay.
Despite being outnumbered 7-1, DaBaby demanded respect from the group because he isn't afraid of no confrontation.
Check out what I'm saying. I ain't no peewee though, so it don't go like that. It gotta be respect. It gotta be respect. You see what I'm saying? That's all it is. It gotta be respect. Look, nah. Y'all just come, y'all give respect. Y'all would've got the utmost respect. You see what I say? What's good with y'all? Y'all alright?
After things calmed down, DaBaby showed that he wasn't scared and he wouldn't obey by their rules. Later on DJ Vlad's interview, DaBaby would speak on this entire situation.
A bunch of guys from the neighborhood show up and ask you for a permission slip. I think they actually use those words.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. So where's your permission slip? Did you feel that it could have gone wrong?
Yeah, your guy was on their side. The guy was on their side, you know what I mean? It worked out perfect for him.
However, the rapper with the most beef in the industry comes from a special place in the music game. When it comes to drill music, one city stands out from the rest, which would be Chicago, home of the rapper Lil Durk, who's built a reputation in the industry as someone you shouldn't beef with. However, in November 2020, the sudden passing of King Von would cause all sorts of beef between Lil Durk and other rappers, with one of the biggest rap beefs in history being Lil Durk versus NBA Youngboy, because Youngboy's artist Quando Rondo was at the scene of the crime when King Von would sadly pass, as his best friend Lil Tim was the one that did it. However, years before the passing, Lil Durk and NBA Youngboy were once good with each other. They even linked up on a song titled My Side, although both parties started going at it after Von started beefing with Youngboy before he passed.
Youngboy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
He talking crazy on this one.
Oh, yeah?
He ain't even like that.
Oh!
On his man.
On his
Cap. You got cap in your raps. Why be a straight not catch him is that?
Not long after, Von released photos hanging out with one of NBA Youngboy's baby mamas, raising tensions even more between the two, as Youngboy responded with a post captioned, "I'ma have my son get with your daughter since you're trolling," and then even made a track with King Von's ex-girlfriend named Asian Doll, trying to get back at him, trying to make him jealous. The two would continue back and forth with some comments over the years, but ever since King Von passed, NBA Youngboy started disrespecting him and all of O Block by releasing his track titled Bring the Hook, as there is lyrics stating, "This that Squid Game, O Block pack get rolled up, what they told us, Atlanta boy get fold up." Youngboy wasn't done yet, and he even created another song titled Know Like I Know, rapping the lyrics, "I don't care, my man, just like your friend, you'll bite the dust," which is completely targeted towards Lil Durk. Durk knew he had to respond, so he would drop the song titled Aha, hitting back twice as hard, as Lil Durk would rap the lyrics, "They acting like they like that since my brody passed. I told Von to leave that girl alone. She posted on the fans." As Lil Durk didn't hold back with the release, hinting that they got their get back against Youngboy's boy, saying, and I quote, "We've been sliding through they blocks and they don't know we have, but he got hit and we can't claim it, but I can show him." Now, ever since Lil Durk dropped this song, it's been very quiet on both sides, as NBA Youngboy would end up losing a very close friend. With Lil Durk likely trying to avoid attention as well from the feds, he would then start acting like the beef with NBA Youngboy is over.
DJ Academics is saying you and NBA Youngboy's beef is done. Is that true?
What beef?
Oh, so there's no beef.
Beef who?
NBA Youngboy?
Shut up, more up.
However, a rapper that is never afraid to respond online would be none other than Tekashi 6ix9ine, who has had a large rivalry with Lil Durk for many years. To understand this, we need to further dive deep into 2018, as 6ix9ine would show up to O Block, acting like they weren't really about the street life.
O Block right here, this what y'all wanted me in Chicago? I shit cold, no block, it's 10 o'clock. That ain't outside, it's only 10 p.m.
Not much came from it, as 6ix9ine spent the next year behind bars for federal charges, so Lil Durk wouldn't be able to get revenge. However, once he was released in 2020, 6ix9ine would poke fun at Lil Durk for not having a #1 hit. Durk didn't respond at first, but that only made 6ix9ine want to disrespect Lil Durk even more. So he would go back to O Block once again, holding flowers and even mocking Durk's cousin Newski for passing in 2014. He posted the video to Instagram, caption it saying "Rest in peace Newski," as well as promoting his upcoming album. This much disrespect would end up making Lil Durk and King Von respond to 6ix9ine on Instagram.
Rat. You can't compete with a rat on the street. You know what I'm saying? And I keep telling y'all that. Start responding to that clown.
6ix9ine ain't cool. I don't know, they got this man running around. It's funny. Yeah, funny. This man, but he told him all type of people. And they people locked up. And his people, family members. After heard he told on a lot of people, like, so I know it's people like he probably ain't did. And he told on him.
According to Lil Durk, someone from 6ix9ine's team then offered him $3 million cash to escalate the beef with 6ix9ine. However, Lil Durk would decline it, saying that he wouldn't respond to 6ix9ine ever again. With 6ix9ine not getting the attention of Lil Durk's beef, when he dropped his album Tattletales in September, it would end up completely flopping. Lil Durk would then post it to IG, and he would write, "Should have taken that $3 million to go get some album sales." But then in November 2020, Lil Durk Durk's best friend King Von would sadly pass in Atlanta, which 6ix9ine immediately began dissing him about in the comments of Lil Durk's post remembering King Von, where 6ix9ine said, and I quote, "Newski, now Von, and you're still rapping? Go pick up a firearm." Lil Durk would end up leaving the internet for a month, and then in December would release his hit album titled The Voice. After announcing that it would sell 55K first week, 6ix9ine commented that he used Von's name for sales, where he would say, "Sold 55K, and his man was caught in 4K? Hashtag King Von." Then jumping into April of 2022, 6ix9ine would end up tricking famous Lil Durk's lookalike named Lil Perkio into filming a video with him.
Just got bro the jacket. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole jacket. Good, just leave the jacket on.
6ix9ine tricked Perkio into wearing a jacket with King Von on the back, and even captioned it, "At Lil Durk, I had a gift for the bro, at King Von. Your men are never gonna slide, but they're definitely gonna rep you all day on t-shirts." As 6ix9ine dissed them even more in his track Jenna, rapping the lyrics, "Your man got hit, you made a diss track, go get a strap and get some get back. Your man got hit, he's not coming back, go get a strap and get some get back. I knew you wouldn't ride for your homie, I knew you wouldn't ride for your dolly." Absolutely putting Lil Durk on blast, trying to make the public laugh at him for not getting get back for King Von. However, a few months later, Lil Durk called out 6ix9ine on his track titled Huh, and he would say, and I quote, "Man, I'm Durk, and you got my low. Why you play with Perkio? F the feds, who walk around you, them men gon' get hit." Now, both sides would end up stop dissing each other for quite some time. This was, however, until May 2023, when 6ix9ine hopped on IG Live saying,
"Yeah, yo, you get Lil Durk in the ring right now. I will volley him on King Bones. Yo, he gonna hit me with he's doing right now. Nothing. He gonna hit me with the, yo, bro, you making it hot right now. Chill."
The two would end up messaging back and forth, trying to set up a boxing match. However, nothing came from it. 6ix9ine then wanted to throw down in a random hotel room for money, while Lil Durk wanted an event to get 6ix9ine for some money. Although both sides haven't dissed for quite some time, many state that 6ix9ine was told to press back, as Lil Durk was gonna end up trying to get some revenge on him, or even his crew. As while Lil Durk had issues with some of the biggest artists in the game, his most dangerous beefs go back from his time in the streets of Chicago during the war between the BDs and GDs. Lil Durk started his music career dissing OPPS in the area of 2012. Both teams were already going at it, however Lil Durk's music would rise tensions in the streets after the release of L's anthem aimed at the G's. Lil Jojo, a rapper from the GDs, responded by dissing Durk and the BDs. But the beef with Jojo was cut very short, as he would sadly been taken out months later. With Jojo gone, FBG Duck would take the spot for the GDs, and he would end up sending a diss track towards Lil Durk and his crew, as Lil Durk immediately targeted Duck in his song Competition, saying, and I quote, "I catch an op, I get him, catch Lil J, I heat his face, Lil Duck, he can't duck this clip." Now around this time, Lil Durk and everyone in the BDs were dissing an op named Tuka. He was sadly hit at a bus stop in 2011. In retaliation for Tuka's passing, the GDs got their get back on a BD known as OD Perry, who would become the man that O Block was actually named after. FBG Duck and Lil Durk kept climbing in the music industry, throwing disses at each other back and forth for all of the fallen members in the Chicago streets. After years of back and forth, planning to catch people lacking in Chicago whenever they could, members of O Block rolled up on FBG Duck and even caught him lacking in broad daylight.
When he witnessed two cars stop in the middle of Oak Street, 4 men got out and started.
It was very rapid. There was no stop.
Word is spreading on social media that the 26-year-old man pronounced is a well-known Chicago rapper.
Shortly after, Lil Durk continued after Duck's passing with the release of his song titled Should've Ducked, hinting towards the hit against FBG Duck. With FBG Duck sadly passed, a newer member named FBG Cash would fill in the shoes of Duck. As to understand how serious Lil Durk was about getting revenge for anything and anyone that dissed King Von, FBG Duck posted a photo beside King Von's mural in Chicago. He even released a song with the lyrics, and I I quote, "I don't want to hear no get back. The whole world witnessed your main man get splat, and you ain't even get your lick back." Cash, later in the track, would even then diss Lil Durk's late brother D-Thang with the lyrics, and I quote, "Look at what happened to D-Thang, they know how we came." However, just like everyone else who became the opposition to O-Block, and as well as dissing King Von and D-Thang, FBG Cash would be taken out within a few months after that song's release. While nobody's ever been caught for the crime, it is heavily rumored that someone in O-Block was responsible for it all. As with all of FBG's top rappers passing in the streets, Ruga's kept the beef alive most recently, but with all of his fallen brothers, he didn't go hard, and instead he asked Lil Durk why he was still dissing Duck, instead of going after the men who got King Von. FBG Ruga would also post DMs with Lil Durk, where he would say, and I quote, "You get in your feelings and make diss songs, you want a reaction from me so bad." Durk would reply, "I don't know you, lil boy." Ever since the DMs, Ruga's been too scared to take the spotlight as FBG's next rapper, and it kinda makes sense why. In an interview with Adam22, Ruga said he didn't want to talk about Lil Durk anymore, probably because he was scared for his life.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
What?
No Durk, man.
No Durk questions?
Talk about Durk, bro. I don't even want to mention that name in this interview.